Hey everybody, welcome to Federation Nation. I am Anthony. This is Collectors Entertainment Network, and today we are going to look at Rowdy Roddy, the official biography of Rowdy Roddy Piper. But first, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe, please like, please comment, and please share this video with anyone you think may like it as well. Alright, 2 weeks ago we looked at the Hulk Hogan one. Last week we looked at the Andre the Giant one. Now we're looking at the Rowdy Roddy Piper one. So, I showed you in the last episodes how it was in the catalog. I showed you the October-November 1985 issue of WWF magazine with Ricky Steamboat. But, being this is the Rowdy one, let's look at this. The December-January 85-86 issue. If you go to the catalog, it's the same catalog, it's only the next issue. The 1985 Season's Greetings catalog. And you turn the page, there you have the three books. Hulkamania, Andre the Giant, and Rowdy Roddy Piper. This week is the third week that we're going to finish out this little series, and that's the Rowdy one right there. So, let's get into it. Alright guys, let's get right into it. World Wrestling Federation presents Rowdy Roddy, the official biography of Rowdy Roddy Piper. Lavishly illustrated throughout, includes an exclusive introduction by Rowdy Roddy Piper. Let's open it up, and we'll see one of the only two color photos we'll get. One in the beginning, and one at the end. There again, a title page. And here is some sort of legalese and dedications and such. There is your introduction by Rowdy Roddy Piper himself. Let us keep going up. And there's the Hot Rod signature, Rowdy Roddy Piper. The Rowdy one, here is a sort of write-up on him before we get into all the pictures. It was similar to the Hogan and Andre one. He had a few pages of a write-up, and then it's just basically pictures throughout. Alright, keep going, and here we go, getting into the pictures. Up, there's Hot Rod with the bagpipes and the Superman shirt, one of his earlier looks. And there he is on Piper's Pit with Ricky Steamboat. Notice I didn't say Ricky the Dragon Steamboat because I don't think he was the Dragon by that point. Remember in Wrestlemania 1, he was just introduced as Ricky Steamboat, wasn't the Dragon until later on in 1985. But there he is. Nice big picture there on Piper's Pit. And some more of Steamboat on Piper's Pit. Of course, Ace hanging out in the back, always around when Roddy Piper was there. And there it looks like Ace is trying to break up a fight between Steamboat and Piper. More Steamboat and Piper on Piper's Pit. And there is the Hot Rod. And right here, this is funny because there is Rowdy Roddy Piper. The first LJN wrestling figure I ever had was Rowdy Roddy Piper. And the second LJN wrestling superstar figure I ever had was SD Jones. I got Piper, and he was the only one I had for a couple of months, and then I finally needed to get somebody else, and when I went to Toys R Us, I saw SD Jones, and I didn't really know who he was, so I wanted him because Piper at that point had turned good, and everyone else at Toys R Us was a good guy. SD Jones, I wasn't quite sure who he was, so I said, well, he might be a bad guy. And it's funny because I watched wrestling every week, and you think I would have seen SD Jones, but I guess to me he was just another jobber, so he never really stood out. It wasn't until I got his figure that then I, looked into him, and when I saw him, I realized, and I said, oh, he's actually a good guy. But it didn't matter. I needed some figure to fight Piper, and that's the way it was. All right, there is some more Piper in some different shirts. He hadn't settled on the Hot Rod one by this point. There he is at Wrestlemania. It's definitely Wrestlemania because you can see Pat Patterson is the referee. And of course he's getting the big boot by Hogan. Speaking of Wrestlemania, that's Piper in a cool Wrestlemania t-shirt. Who's he being interviewed there by? Regis Philbin? I'm not even sure. Alright, keep on moving. There is Hot Rod There's the garden. That's WrestleMania right here. Right here. That's WrestleMania because you see all the bagpipers down there. And he definitely wore the Panther shirt at WrestleMania. But he wore that a bunch of places. It's the bagpipers that give it away. And of course, here is some more WrestleMania stuff. Now, if you remember the Hogan biography, I don't know, there's like, what, 20 pages of WrestleMania pictures? Here, hopefully this won't be as bad, but there is definitely going to be a good chunk of WrestleMania coverage in this biography. The Andre one wasn't as bad. There was definitely a few pages of Stud versus Andre, $15,000 slam match, but not as much as in the Hogan one. Rowdy Roddy Piper is the best. Oh, he even had fans back then. I mean, I know by the following year he would be turning face, but he was definitely still a heel at this point, even if he had started to garner some fans. But again, here is some more WrestleMania coverage. And remember, 1985, it was all about Hogan and Piper. I think that may have started in late 84, but I think of 85, it was Hogan and Piper between WrestleMania and then finally, I think, maybe I don't know, finally, but one of the last ones was the Wrestling Classic. It was all about Hogan versus Piper. 84, we'll probably see here later on, that was definitely the Snuka versus Piper year of 1984, but 85 was the Hogan versus Piper. See, there you go. Not sure, can't tell where that is, can't tell if that is Patterson back there. So that might be WrestleMania, it might not be. They fought all over the country. This definitely isn't, because that is not Pat Patterson as the referee. So if those previous page was the same fight, which I assume it is, then this is a different event. Nice big picture there. Hot Rod with Hogan down. But of course, Hogan turns the tables and atomic drop plus a getting to the outside. And then back to a WrestleMania moment, it looks like. And then, now at this point, if WrestleMania already happened, Orndorff has already turned face and turned on Piper. And that started a little feud too. But a lot of it was still Hogan versus Piper in 85. There he is with the Panther shirt, which was going to be the original LJN, both the figure and the poster. Now, the figure never got released with the Panther shirt, but some of the posters did go out with the Panther shirt on the poster. And there we go. There we go. Snuka. 1984 was Piper versus Snuka year. And that was a rather intense feud. See if I could turn the page. Yeah, definitely a lot of Snuka. I'm sure in 85 they were still going at it. But I mean, Snuka wasn't around much more after WrestleMania, so maybe the beginning part of 85 they were still going at it. But definitely 84. We all know what happened on Piper's Pit with Snuka and the coconut. 1 coconut, 2 coconut. We all know that. So, we all know what happened. Look, he's whipping him. Look, even the ref was like, oh man, that's not good. He was probably really doing it. No, I mean, I know it was a work, but he was probably really hitting him. And there is some more Snuka and Piper. What a feud. One of the greatest feuds of all time. Definitely of the 80s. Definitely of the WWF. But possibly of all time. Especially with that Piper's Pit. The infamous Piper's Pit with the coconuts. Chair shots to the back. Wonder if that chair was gimmicked. I don't know. Oh, Superfly. Coming off the top rope. Gotta love that. And there is another picture of WrestleMania, and it's Snuka, Hogan, and Mr. T. But there is Piper mocking Superfly, doing the old, down on one knee, doing the I love you sign, like Superfly did. And here we go. Oh, look, there's Andre, there's Cyndi Lauper, and there is Hulk Hogan with the big green. I always love seeing him with the big green. And then the second color photo of the Rowdy one here with the Superman shirt and the bagpipes. And here is the back. Here for the first time is the full authorized story. The World Wrestling Federation is proud to present Rowdy Roddy. And down here, complete with photos of Rowdy Roddy's latest victories. And that, my friends, is this. Rowdy Roddy, the official biography of Rowdy Roddy Piper. Alright guys, that's going to do it for Rowdy Roddy, the official biography of Rowdy Roddy Piper. Also finishing out this little series of 3 videos on those biography books that the WWF released back in 1985. We did Hulk Hogan, we did Andre the Giant, and we did Rowdy Roddy Piper. We'll be moving on to something else next week for Federation Nation, but until then guys, have a good one.